Okie dokie. We are recording now. All right, yeah. So, I mean, uh, make sure to get to your classes kind of on time. I know we covered this last time. We were in the big meeting with Andres and everything. Make sure to get there at least 20 minutes, I would say, for your first one. Like Monday, 20, 30
Hmm.
minutes early. And then the rest of the days, you can be like 15, 10 minutes just because you want to know where you're going and all that good stuff. But also make sure when you do get to the schools that you meet with the people there. There's going to be usually a advisor there or someone at the school that you can talk to, and they'll kind of guide you to the room or tell you when and where to pick up kids and stuff like that. And make sure to be super friendly to them as well, because they're kind of going to be your lifeline if anything gets um, hectic out there. They're kind of your first line of defense, besides emailing me, since they're right there to help you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a big important topic that, or not a topic, just a point. So a lot of your camps are going to be heavily dependent, and how it goes is going to be heavily dependent on what kind of class you have and what kind of school you go to. You may end up at a school that has not done this program for very long. Maybe it's their second or third year, and they don't have too many staff that are available to help out. And in those situations, you kind of take a lead, but I'm sure that won't be your first or second camp. Your first or second camp will end third or fourth. Usually it's very nice to ease into because Andre schedules them very well. But the bigger classes, the bigger schools you go to will most likely have an assistant for you to help out with behavioral issues, just managing children, or teenagers or young teenagers, or whatever your class size is or class age is. There will always be some sort of coordinator for the program, and your
Hmm.
first lifeline is them, right? If you have small technical issues, like for example, the Wi-Fi, I don't know, is not working on one of the laptops, you can have someone help you out from there. Usually they're very helpful. So it's important to get there, like Michael said, pretty early on a first day. It's a 4-day camp. You have an AM class and a PM class. Um, and the first day is usually just the most hectic. You're going to want to get to know all the students' names. You're going to want to get to know how the school operates, how the students get picked up, how you, at the beginning of the day, count off all your students. The first day will give you a very good general idea of how your week is going to go. And how your week goes is, again, very dependent on you and how you want to do things. The one of the great things about this job is that you're not, for example, you're not like clocking in and out, like you have to be somewhere at a specific minute and you have to leave at a specific minute. Um, you don't have like a supervisor looking after you and like telling you what you have to and have to not do. But the important thing is you get in there on time, have all the technical material with you, the laptop's all charged, enough chargers, enough mouses. Um, there's no there's no student without a laptop or something like that. You just make sure you're prepared, make sure you hit on the topics, and everything other than that, besides like getting the children picked up, or not children necessarily, but students picked up on time, correctly by their parents. Those are just things that you have to make sure happen. And usually the school will guide you through all of this. You won't be solely responsible for the return of these children. It's usually just the students, or the coordinators that will help you out. Um, an important thing for the 4-day weeks. Usually your AM and PM classes will be in the same school. If it's not, then you will just have to make sure that you're able to clean up on time and then get to your next location. But most of the time, I believe that Andres tries to make the schools the same on the AM and PM, which in that case is very easy. You don't need to clean up after your AM. You don't need to set anything up for your PM. You just continue with your classes. An important thing is that you want there to be some flow in your week. You want to make sure you introduce yourself as a teacher. You want to establish that you are a teacher, and this is not like a playground sort of environment. You can be lenient with your students. Again, this is some freedom on your end, but you have to make sure that they are on task, listening to you. You present yourself in in a manner that you know the subject and you are the teacher, so they have to listen to you. But you can be as friendly as you want. You can play games with them, have competitions with them, um, whatever. Over the 4 days, you will for sure bond with the students. The students will bond with you. It's one of the great things about the job. But you just have to make sure you're hitting on these material points that just so that they get some knowledge out of the camp and they can answer their parents when they say, oh, what did you learn today, or what did you do at camp? They're able to give some sort of correct feedback. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and can you see my screen?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
teachers.
Just give it a second. I think it's loading, maybe. You might have to share your screen again.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, so this is the folder or the Google Drive that will be shared with you. It might be named teachers, it might be named something else. Whatever it is, you'll have access to all these technical camps. And we made sure to have the curriculum include or not just the curriculum, but this drive to include everything from something that all teachers should read, no matter what camps you teach. This is just the IT message for camps. Here is a presentation on just teaching young students. Your camp's age range will typically be at youngest 8 years old and at oldest like 12 years old. So this is the age range. Some of your classes, they're going to be moving a little bit faster. Some of your classes are going to be moving a little bit slower. Again, this is kind of your responsibility to make sure the class progresses at the student speed and also progresses fast enough or slow enough to get through what you need to get through. This is just preparation stuff. You can go through this on your own time. Once again, you'll have that stuff. Teaching guide, tactile laptop info. The code for all the laptops is here. It's 5683. That's never going to change. The password for almost everything that you're going to need is policy 24 spend. I doubt that you're going to need this stuff, but if you do, it's here. Everything is pretty laid out. But in terms of more specific stuff, you are doing the Minecraft YouTube camp, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if you're teaching any other ones?
I don't think so. I think it's just Minecraft.
Okay. So once again, we used to have binders full of like paper, but that's too much to carry around. This is just a Google Slides. And a good thing about these Google Slides is that if you, I don't know, get too nervous or don't know how to teach on like on your first or second, or anything happens or any kind of hiccups, you can play this screen you can play this slide on the big screen and just follow along from this. They should be pretty interactive and pretty intuitive. Start off just a week overview by day. Like I said, it's a 4-day camp, your AM and PM. On the first day, you're going to introduce yourself. After your first or second week, you yourself are going to have a pretty good idea of how long it takes you to get your class set up from start to up until you start teaching something, right? Like the OBS and Minecraft stuff. You're not going to just jump into that right away on your Monday. You're going to take maybe 30 minutes to introduce yourself to the class, introduce the class to you. You want to know their names. You kind of want to be comfortable around them and you want them to be comfortable around you. But like I said, this is just, you can, practice saying how you're going to say things. This is all up to you. Then you get into OBS and Minecraft and you start recording on the first day. You kind of the main mission for the first day is get the ball rolling. Day 2, you finish recording 1 and then you start on Canva. Ideally, this will be a full work day. There's no sort of introduction or wrap up or anything like that. You let the students record, start editing, and typically the full 3 hours of the second day should be enough for them to be able to kind of have their first project finished. The third day is right after the half point mark, right? So it's you want to start on video 2. In the previous curriculum, we had them do 1 video, but just teach a lot more like in-depth intricacies of Canva, which didn't really work so well because again, they're anxious, they're excited, they're anxious to start making videos, start editing it. They're not going to sit through all the really boring, intricate stuff. You want to cover the big main things that will help them add an intro, add an outro, do like cool animations, throw sparkles in there, whatever on Canva that they want to do, you want to be able to teach that. And so with this new curriculum, we just have them do 2 different videos. And I'm not sure if it'll say on this, it'll say once we go in depth, but usually the video ideas the students will come up with them on themselves. They're there to, express themselves creatively. And if they really can't come up with any ideas, again, this is their creative freedom to guide them in a fun direction while they can learn this stuff. And then day 4 is you finish up video 2, you save, you have them present to the whole class. Usually, if you want to make it easier, I used to pair them up. I think Michael did too. You have them work in groups of 2 or 3. If you want them to share 1 laptop, you can set that instruction. If you want them to all work on their own laptop, that's fine. If they work in big groups, you can save the final video and then put it on all 3 of their drives or both of their drives. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. As long as each student gets to take home something that they created at the end of the week. But moving forward, these are just some must-dos. These are pretty self-explanatory. I don't think you don't have to go too far out of your way to check all of these boxes. Just be prepared, know what you're going to talk about. Try not to give too many I don't know answers to students. You don't want to seem not credible in front of them. There will be some interesting questions that you'll get just randomly. And just at that point, it's important to be able to quickly solve that issue. You can look it up on your phone. You can look it up on your teacher's laptop. If you don't know the answer to a question, it's not that big of a deal if you don't necessarily know, but it is a big deal if you just tell them that you don't know and they just leave wondering like what your purpose is if you can't answer their question. You know what I mean? But that's usually a very rare scenario. Usually you'll be able to answer all their questions just fine. It should be a pretty smooth camp. Moving forward, this is just an instructor checklist before the week. You want to make sure all your laptops are charged. You want to have enough mouses, chargers, extension cords, whatever. You don't want to be teaching in the middle of your camp and need another laptop for a student or something like that. Just a note. Day 1. Okay, so this is a little bit more in depth. Again, if you completely forget how the curriculum goes or how the flow goes, you can just throw this up on the smartboard and you can play this video for them. You should watch this so that it's a full in-depth guide of OBS. OBS is where to record your screen, record whatever, and edit it. And Canva too. This is just the Canva, so just watch both of these. This is for you to completely read through over too. But for example, OBS and Canva, they're both softwares that have a lot of information in it. You're not going to be able to teach them everything about Canva and everything about OBS. This is, again, the creative freedom of the instructor and the teacher to teach the most important main parts of OBS and Canva to the students to work on their videos with. Like I said, some of your classes are going to be slower than others. Some of your classes are going to be faster than others, depending on the pace and the progression. You can speed things up. You can teach them more intricate stuff. You can teach them more detailed stuff. Or if they're not catching along as fast as you would like them to, you can slow it down and just really simplify it down to the basics. Like this is how you trim videos. This is how you cut videos. Just like the really essentials that they need to know. Day 1 and day 2, pretty self-explanatory. You go through the introductions. You have them brainstorm some ideas. Just school appropriate ideas, whatever they want to do, how-to videos, tutorials, story time. Usually they come up with awesome ideas on their own, and usually you don't have to even have any input. But if they don't have any ideas, that's, again, you help them out with that. And then you pass out the laptops after you give all your instructions and whatnot, because usually they won't pay attention, but it'll be harder for them to completely give you all their attention if there's a laptop in front of them. You have them launch Minecraft and OBS, and oh, this is the Minecraft YouTube. This is not but yeah, same things apply. With their Minecraft, it's like you record your screen and they can do how to build something in Minecraft or a tutorial or whatever. Sorry, I thought it was the other YouTube one, but everything applies still. Literally everything. Same thing. Day 2, just more just explaining it. Canva is pretty easy. It'll take you 30 minutes to just play around in Canva and OBS to see how everything works. It's pretty self-explanatory. Have you used either one of these things before?
I've used Canva, not OBS.
Okay, that's good. So, um, yeah, this is all just, you can read through the stuff. Day 3, they begin their new videos. For example, you can do the first one, they have their face cam, and then they can like have an example build of like how to build a mansion in creative mode, right? And then they finish that up by day 2. And then you start your second one, you do face cam, you do the audio, and then you do like a survival walkthrough. Usually the kids are going to be so excited to play Minecraft that they're going to have tons of ideas of what to do and how to do it. And then this is just showing this last day 4 is just wrapping everything up, having them, you can have them present their short videos to the class. If students don't necessarily want to or they're shy, they don't have to. It's not super mandatory. Like I said, these are guidelines. These are great guidelines to follow. But again, they're going to be your camp to teach. So if you feel like your students don't really want to present in front of people or something like that, they don't have to. If they do, great. It takes up quite a bit of time. They really enjoy it. They get to show off their projects, and it usually ends in a really positive note. Great and last day to the camp. Sorry, I kind of went fast there and kind of was all over the place. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, and if you do have any questions that come up, Michael can answer them. You can reach out to Michael or Andres or even me if you need help. But in terms of, I'm gonna show you just a different camp, just to like show you how other camps work as well. So this is Roblox game development.
Where do I get my rosters from? Are they going to be emailed to me?
Your roster, you know my
Yeah, for the kids is what you're talking about, like who's gonna be in your
Yeah.
class. Usually Andres will send that out to you probably like a couple days before. And if you
Okay.
don't get that, usually the schools give you one as well for who's in the camp and who's not. And you may also have some kids that are just joining that day and they may not be on your roster. Make sure to send like Andre like an email or something just to be like somebody wants to join the camp. We don't ever want to send anybody away. So just kind of say like, oh, somebody wants to join the camp, and then we'll kind of figure it out for you. But yeah, if you don't get a roster, make sure to email either me or Andres, and we'll for sure try and get you one as soon as we can out
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, with schools, there will be several different other camps going on. So usually you might run into maybe a student in the wrong class. They might be not on your roster. You want to just ask around if they belong in a different camp. You can talk with the coordinator at the site, and they solve that pretty fast. But sometimes it's just an error on our part. So then the student needs to just be added to the roster or something like that. That's just pretty easy problem solving on the spot. You make sure no one, you don't like necessarily kick anyone out and say, oh, you're not in my class or something. You can just add them on and continue with your curriculum until the problem is solved. But yeah, like Michael said, just let Andres know or Michael know if they're not on your list, and they're not on anyone else's list. But this is an example of another one. This is the Roblox game development camp. This one uses Roblox Studio, and a lot of the times students come in here thinking, oh, we're going to play Roblox. Similar to your situation, people are going to come into your class, or the students are going to come into your class very excited. They think they're going to just play Minecraft the whole time. While we are using Minecraft, it's true, they get to play Minecraft. It's not just a playing around camp. This is still like it's a learning camp, right? So we want to make sure that the students know that Minecraft is a medium to their projects. It's not just free time the whole time. As long as they're getting their work done, as long as they're doing what you're telling them to do, they can enjoy Minecraft in your camp, because that's what the whole camp revolves around. There's no issue with that. You just want to make sure all your students are staying on track, and will have ideally both videos done by the end of the week. You want to just make sure it progresses to that point. How you do it is up to you. If you have in the same class some students that finish their 2 projects earlier than some students are than other students, that's fine. You just regulate the pace of them on your own, and usually it's pretty easy. Usually they are very good at listening to teachers and everything. But again, tips, everything same, instructor checklist, a couple notes. The must-dos are always the same. And then a step by step. Again, like I said, these slides are made so that you can just throw this on the big screen and you can play this video, or you can just put this on the big screen and have them write this down. You can, if worst comes to worst, you can just have this on the screen and it should be pretty smooth. But besides specifics, and even if you don't teach these classes necessarily, you'll have all of this. You'll have this entire drive. Just in case that you do end up teaching, or you need to teach a different class. I don't think we need to get into CurseForge or World Edit guides, because I don't think you're teaching those. I mean, yeah, I think that's it. It's the important thing is that you have 4 days. Your first day is your intro, your last day is kind of your conclusion, and you want to make sure there's flow from day 1 to day 4 and things get done. Other than that, it's a pretty easy job, and it's pretty rewarding. You'll bond with the kids. Like I said, the kids will for sure remember you. I remember I used to walk down the hallways and some students would say Mr. M to me, like from way previous classes. Like, these kids actually remember you, because you're, you know, for them, this is the extracurricular classes after school to learn some STEM. So this is definitely going to be extracurricular that they remember. You want to make sure you leave a positive impact and try to get through all the material. Michael?
Yeah, to add on to that, if you ever come across that you don't have enough laptops, or one of your laptops isn't working, so you don't have enough for somebody, don't just like have them sit out either. Kind of have them pair up just for like a day or for a little while we get you another laptop, or until you're able to get that laptop working, just so everybody's doing something and everybody feels included. And also with making sure you have everybody, that roster is super helpful, to make sure that when you go outside and you come back, that you have everybody in your classroom. Because I remember when I had some teaching moments, some of the kids would kind of run off, and then you're like, well, you don't know where everybody is. So you want to make sure that you're like, you know where everybody is in your class. Everybody's inside now. And if you ever come across where somebody ran away, try and talk to some faculty if you don't have an assistant there with you, to try and get your student back for you.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty important point. The break in between. So you'll have a break halfway between your AM class, and then you'll have a break between your PM class, right? Just for the students to go outside and have a little bit of time to play outside, like 10, 15, 20 minutes at most. Usually the students will not run off and you'll like lose them. Don't let that scare you, but it is very important and crucial, like Michael said, to have that roster so that you don't, in the worst case scenario, lose a student, right? You don't want to not know where your students are. But usually for like recess or this break, whatever you want to call it, you want to let your students know, like, hey, I'm going to blow my whistle, or hey, I'm going to say, oh, tic-tac-toe, and then I'm going to yell out tic-tac-toe. I'm going to yell out I don't know, Sonia's group, or whatever you want to do to make sure your class comes to you and lines up at the end of this little break. That again, that's up to you. Usually, for big schools, you will have that break at similar times with other camps, and there will be a ton of students on the playground. So it'll be really hard for you to like individually keep your eyes on them. So the best way to go about that is you want to have like a little signal to have them all come back. They're usually very good at listening to that. But again, that roster helps you make sure that you have everyone. And before you head in, you can just do roll call and just make sure all 10 of your students are there, or all 11 of your students are there. They'll give you that piece of paper, and it'll have check boxes for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, AM and PM. You just check them off and make sure you have everyone. But like I said, they're going to be sticking to you, and they're going to be following your instructions a majority of the time. It's like I said, it's very important for you to establish yourself as their teacher. They must like respect you and understand that you are there to teach them. As soon as you start giving like too many I don't know answers, or kind of show some uncertainty if you don't know what you're talking about, if you're like completely clueless on the camp, which I'm sure you will not be, but in that case, the students start slacking, they start not paying attention, they start refusing to do some of the projects. So you don't want that to go, you don't want it to go that way. Again, with the freedom aspect of this, how you get to run your class, the breaks, you can go on the breaks when you feel like you're at a good stopping point in your class. There's not a specific, you don't have to go exactly halfway between start and finish of your day times. If you come to a nice closing point, you can say, okay, guys, grab your snacks. We're gonna go outside for 15 minutes and we'll be back. This could be at any point. Then you decide that whenever is a good stopping point for the students. When they're on a roll, you just let them stay on a roll, and it becomes really smooth for you. But other than that, I think that's pretty much all the information that I have to give you. I think if you have any other questions besides like camp specific things, Michael or Andres will be able to problem solve that pretty easily for you. I want to ask, do you have any other questions? Anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. Michael, do you have anything you want to add?
Just touching up with what you said, making sure you're in control, and like making signals like the 1, 2, 3 eyes on me is super helpful, because most of the students already know that from their previous like classes and stuff. On just being in school, a lot of the teachers use 1, 2, 3 eyes on me or similar things like that. So you can be like, does everybody know this? And then most of the kids will be like, yeah. And then you'd be like, repeat after me, just to get it in their heads that this is no different from being in like regular school. It's not like a time to just kind of like throw everything out the window. You need to respect the space and kind of have a bit of control over them.
Yes, that's very important. You don't want to be stepped over the entire week. It's going to be really hard for you to get through your material. It's going to be hard for you to get them to even listen to your material if you don't sort of establish yourself as their teacher. And if you have any kind of behavioral issues, like don't let this scare you. I'm not trying to say like, oh, if you're not on point, they're just not going to listen. If there's any kind of behavioral issues, you let the coordinator know, and they fix that up real fast. But other than that, like I said, I'm sure you'll do great. This is you have a lot of freedom on your end on how you want to run things. Just make sure you get through all of the material, and the students leave with a final product or some good knowledge of how the camp went, and they get something good out of it.
All right, thank you.
Yes, of
Thank
course.
you.